thing. This is All Things Black with Garland and Calvin. I'm Calvin. He's Garland. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the championship belt.
Oh
The
God.
championship belt from the Zoom battles that I have won after Garland held on to the belt for months and months, not wanting to give it up.
Oh
Anyway,
God.
this is All Things Black with Garland and Calvin, and today we will be talking about the season finale of Queen Sugar titled Onward. This was the final one for this season, and we're going to discuss that. We don't do double duty today because this is us. Did not show up last night, so I think they're coming back May the 11th. So we'll figure what's going on, Garland. Your jaw's kind of tight over there. I'm trying to talk to the people about what we got going on this evening. Why your jaw so tight, man?
Bro, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to keep it together. I am a gracious, I'm gracious in defeat. And, but I know that the will of the people were not heard in that vote. But you know what? I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I'm waiting for the next battle. I'm going to have my list curated properly. And I'll just be ready. I'll just do what I always do. I just respond and come back. I come back.
I actually do. And Garland doesn't know this, everybody, but there is a special announcement coming about the Zoom battles at the end of this show. At the end of this broadcast, I have a special announcement about the Zoom battles. This is something that Garland doesn't even know.
We never even discussed all things Black, Calvin and Garland, and I don't even know what's going to happen.
It literally just happened like 2 minutes before we logged on. I mean, but don't worry about it. It'll be something that, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. It's definitely something that is needed and long overdue. And I'm sure you'll appreciate it, In the meantime, we can discuss Queen Sugar, the season finale. Let me make sure. You ready? Yeah. So the belt is listening to. The belt might want to jump in on the discussion also,
The belt might want to jump in. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is something else. Yeah, I need to talk to 7 and 7, my attorneys at law, and Harvey Birdman, and I need to work this out because, this is something else. You ready? Are you ready? Is the belt ready?
We are. We are both ready.
All right, man. Queen Sugar. It was a closing episode, y'all. Season finale. Onward was the title of the show. And so this was just a good season. We're going to reflect on it a little bit later. And so, but, I think this was a great episode. And so let's get into it. Ralph Angel, Darla, and Blue, they're packed up and ready to head to D.C. so Blue can start at Sidwell Friends. As you know, for the past a couple episodes, if people have not been watching, Blue's grandmother, Darla's mother, got him into Sidwell Friends, a exclusive private school in Washington, D.C., Quaker school, famous for where the Obama girls went to, and several other presidents' children went there as well. And so because Blue is an excellent student and a scholar, and his tests were off the chart in terms of intelligence tests, his grandmother had some connections and got him into the school. And so there was a kind of like some tension there of if he should leave Louisiana and go to D.C. to go to school. But they finally resolved that he would go, and he wanted to go. And so his parents are supporting him in that. And so as they are about to leave, your boy Blue comes out the house with his doll, Kenya. So everybody knows Kenya from the first season. Kenya was like his doll. He took Kenya everywhere. And so he gives Kenya to his dad to watch over them while he is gone. This is major for Blue. We're seeing this. Although Blue don't have a haircut, although Blue don't have no lineup, he is slowly transitioning to stop playing with dolls. I mean, he even got the Black Panther doll last episode, and he said, "Oh no, I'm gonna keep this as a collectible." So we see that Blue getting ready for DC because he know he about to run into some honeys, and he need to get it together. But he didn't get his lineup. So hopefully, while he up in DC, he'll get over to PG County somewhere in DC and get a haircut. We know that Chocolate City ain't Chocolate City no more. So maybe he'll go over to PG and get a haircut. And so later on, we see that Blue, he's adjusting well, just like we thought he would, and he's excited about school, and things are going well. But later, as Ralph Angel and Darla are sitting out on the porch looking at the stars, Darla reveals that she is pregnant. Oh man, just so exciting. And so sending Blue to DC appears to be the right decision for him. And do we need to give Ralph Angel and Darla the proper credit for stepping out on faith and sending him? Because I know there was some tension there.
I don't know if we need to give them proper credit. They did what parents did. Parents do. They made a tough decision emotionally, but what they thought was the best decision. So, I mean, of course, you want to give them some credit for being good parents in that aspect. But yeah, if anything, we just want to be proud of them for weeding through the naysayers and weeding through the negativity and making what they feel is the best decision for their immediate family.
Yeah, I just think it's worked out. Blue was excited. It wasn't like they were sending him to a prison camp somewhere. He's going with family. I mean, Darla was raised well. She became a crackhead. And, that wasn't the point. That wasn't the fault of her parents. And so it wasn't like her parents mistreated her. Darla went out there and started doing drugs. And so, but she had a life that was well lived when she was with her parents. And so it's not like they would, I know Vi had a lot of anger against this and all, and we're going to talk about Vi in a little bit. But I know last week when we talked, we were trying to make some predictions, and I was predicting that Blue, they all was sitting in that truck. I hope they ain't drive to DC like that. I'm like, Ralph Angel ain't had no sugarcane money to rent a car. He couldn't go to Hertz and get a little four-door joint.
Bruh, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's not like DC is around the corner, so y'all
Right.
gonna be sitting three strong up in the front,
Right.
all the way to DC. And I know it's hot in that joint because he got his towel on and his button up. I was just like, are you dropping him off at school when you get there or something?
Right.
Like, he had no t-shirt or nothing he could wear.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, he going up like he about to go preach somewhere. And they got the windows rolled down, so they ain't got no AC. The AC
exactly
broke up in that truck. Y'all in Louisiana.
They repurposed that Sanford and Son truck in that joint, making it old travel mobile. I was just like, yo, I know that's uncomfortable. Clearly, it must be because the next scene they were already back. They was like, yeah, we can't film these episodes. Like, good gracious. Plus, then the whole time you got Blue in the middle hollering pops. Right. I know at some point, somewhere around Colorado, Ralph Angel was like, Blue, right. I need you to be quiet for a minute. Pops.
I'm like, is he Lamont Sanford up in here in this front seat? Yeah, so when I saw that, I'm like, y'all couldn't get the family. Y'all couldn't hit up Charlie with some like, Charlie, we about to take the boy up to DC. Can you rent us a SUV so we can go ahead and he ain't got to sit in the front seat. You ain't even got no middle. You ain't even got no middle car seat like that. I mean, seatbelt.
No, they straight went old school, but it ain't like Blue is 3 or 4 years old. Blue kind of big, right. I mean, I know Darla little. She probably is all of it.
I mean, Blue if you wear deodorant, you got to sit in the back seat.
Yeah, Blue, man. I literally was like, they just gonna drive like that? Like, damn, like
right.
So yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, they got there, y'all, and they dropped Blue off. So they made it, and they made it back. I was surprised they made it back in that truck, but they did it. All right. And so let's talk about Charlie. Yeah, Charlie, light skin love. And so Charlie is thinking about Davis and looking at him in a different light. We saw this in the last episode. She kind of had that. I think it's her teeth that she can't shut her mouth all the way. You ever noticed that her mouth was always like, she's always like,
I'm not.
you
I'm
do,
not
you
doing
know.
this with you. I'm not doing this with you.
Anyway, she's fine. But yeah, so she's been thinking about Davis, man, looking at him in a different light. And so to help her process her feelings, she reaches out to Vi and to Darla. And so first she talks to Vi and she asks Vi if there was anything that her ex-husband, Jimmy Lee, could do to make her look at him differently. After Vi said a couple curse words and told her to go kiss her assets, um, she calms down and say, "Hey, look, the difference between Jimmy Lee and Davis is that, basically Davis let his small head do all the thinking, and he messed up. He had a good boo thing at home, and he had boo things on the road, and he lost control. But he's not an evil man. Just because you out here creeping don't make you evil. Just means you have lack of dick control. And so, can we say? I don't want to get put off of YouTube. Oh, we don't get anyway. Lack of penis control. And so he's not an evil man. Darla tells her, as we get to Darla, and she knows she's talking to Darla. Darla's like a sister. And so Darla tells her that, hey, look, I'm not going to give you no advice. I'm just going to, you got to follow your heart. No one knows Davis like you do. And if you see true change in him, you should, this girl going out there and step on, shoot your shot. Basically what she told her. Go ahead, shoot your shot, yo. Shoot your shot, homie. And, y'all could be together again. And so that leads to Charlie saying, "Hey, Davis, meet me in the park. Let's be socially distanced, and I need to talk to you because I want to, see where your head is, And so they start to talk about the difficult things that happen in their marriage, particularly Davis's infidelity. And Davis revealed that, hey, I creeped on you not only because I couldn't control my flesh, but I hated myself. That's I ain't never heard nobody say they didn't cheated because they hate themselves. That's a new one. That's a fresh approach. Anyway, not because he just was she threw it at me. I hate myself. And so that's why I cheated. And so and so he said, "Hey, I'm not that person anymore." And he wants another chance to make things better. He extends his hand to her and say, "Hey, let's do it. Light skin powers unite." And so, man, can a person change, Calvin? Can a person change? Can Davis change?
I'm going to say that I don't necessarily want to say change. I'm going to say that men tend to grow up a lot later than women, and I think not being in the NBA and having all those experiences gives Davis the opportunity to now see things as they should have been and as maybe he wanted them to be. But because he hated himself, he probably now loves himself and can get back to showing Charlie the man that she actually deserves. I do think Davis laid it on thick, and like I've been saying the whole time, he keeps getting that look from Charlie, and she threw that look again at him the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Davis even tapped it off when she started reaching out as if, what are we gonna do? He dropped that little tail on her. He dropped that
Right?
little
He had the
tail on
one
her.
eye tear like.
I was like, I was like, Nick, you something else. You something else.
I tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, growing up, changing, it's all in the same vein. So yeah, I think Davis is seriously going to try. Now we'll have to see what happens. But furthermore, I think Charlie deserves to give him the second chance, and not just for him but for her. A lot of times you'll hear women talk about, I helped him do all of this and do all of that, and then the next thing you know, he's another woman is reaping those benefits. So Charlie deserves to have this man treat her like the queen she is, because she's looked out for him from day one. She's taken care of his kids. She's taken care of both of their businesses, her business and his business. Like she said, she paid this
Right.
woman off for you. So all these benefits that come with this new Davis, or his newfound love for himself, she deserves to have a chance to reap those benefits. Now, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but no need to push him off and let some other woman get it. And then she's sitting back, because her teeth are already big, so her jaws can't be but so tight. She be
Her right. Her teeth are big like Michael B. Jordan's. Like I'm like, are her and Michael B. Jordan related? Because I know, ladies, don't try to fight me. I know he's sexy, but his mouth is like his teeth are out the here, and yeah, yeah. Anyway,
I didn't
I
say it.
Don Kemp had a good point. How is Charlie going to call an ex crackhead and ask her for advice, relationship advice, and from a crackhead that didn't even raise
Well,
her own son? But I said, why not? Hey,
yeah,
Darla,
because
you know,
and Crack was her man. Like, you know what I mean? She had
she
to
was
do
faithful to
something
crack.
about that relationship. Yeah, and Crack never treated her right. So when she
Right.
decided to get away from Crack, she lived a better life. And now hopefully Crack doesn't come back with one tear talking about, I love myself now, darling. Come smoke me. Come smoke me.
I hated myself. I had to unpack all these things. I ain't scared no more. I did destroy families.
I, I don't know why y'all talking about people with big teeth. There was a comedian some years ago that was talking about people having big teeth. She mentioned Puffy with his big teeth, and she mentioned, this is one of the funniest things I heard back then. She mentioned Tiger Woods had some big ass teeth, and she said his teeth so big they should call his ass saber tooth Tiger Woods. I like to fall out for like a week after laughing at that shit. But anyway, moving on.
Tiger only uses those teeth on white women, so and that's a whole nother story. It's hey,
Bruh, you are
I'm on it today. I'm on
you
it
are
tonight. I'm
on it
on it.
today, son.
I'm on one. If you saw the HBO documentary with Tiger, Tiger had a type, i.e., white.
Good gracious. You are not holding back today.
I ain't got no title. I ain't got no belt. I'm about to just go ahead and be crazy. That's how I'm gonna be crazy until I get this belt back. I sound like Chris Rock. I'm crazy. Anyway. All right, man, let's go on. So Nova, she confronts Calvin. Calvin likes him thick. And so she confronts Calvin about the alleged abuse of Andre Nixon. Now, if you remember from last week's episode, Nova, she's going to do this expose on her website and in her paper about Andre Nixon. Andre Nixon was a rising athlete in New Orleans, and he was allegedly beat up by the police. And as a result of his injuries, he's a quadriplegic. And so, as she went to meet with Andre by the waterfront, Andre tells her, hey, the guy that did this to me is Calvin. And, you gave him a shout out in your book. And I figured that's who you knew, that this was the guy that injured me. And so she confronts Calvin. And unfortunately, Calvin, he confirms that he was there. And because of the pressure from his colleagues, he participated in this beatdown of an innocent man. He was ashamed. He is ashamed of what he did, and that he lied to Nova about his past. Okay. But Nova, she's struggling because she want to believe, she want to forget. I mean, Calvin, he must have the magic stick, because she just can't she can't let him go. I mean, she in there lighting candles, doing seances like she Tina Turner, and Ramyo yeah yeah range yo, and she trying her best to work her way through the fact that Calvin is, LAPD Junior out here beating people up. That he feels guilty and he turns himself into the police and is escorted to the station to make a statement. Now, notice they don't put the cuffs on white cops. They just came to say, "Hey, Calvin, if you're not too busy, if you can come down and make a statement, we will really love that." And Calvin's like, "Okay, hey, hold on, let me grab my coat, and I'll
Well,
be
well,
right with
wait.
you."
Well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute, because I completely agree that they treat white people and black people different. But here's the scenario: they'll go to the white guy's house and be like, "Hey, Calvin, can you come to the station with us?" He'll be like, "Sure, Nova, I'll be back.
All
I
right.
had to do what I had to do." You go to a black Terrence, can you come down? The fuck for? Y'all got me fucked up around here. The fuck am I going down there? The,
Oh,
the fuck for what?
that's gonna
Hey,
lead to you
pumpkin.
getting shot, right?
Hey, pumpkin, call, yeah,
Call my mother,
call Aunt,
pumpkin. Call my
yeah.
mother.
The fuck. Am I under arrest?
Get my bail
So
money.
I ain't under. No, whatever you gotta ask me right here. The fuck you, fuck for. Y'all got me fucked up. Fuck you
we re-
mean?
we're really gonna get put off of YouTube. So,
We are, yeah, yeah, we are. This is
you're
us.
gonna have to
This is us. Might be on a different platform in a
you're gonna
couple weeks.
you're gonna have to write another appeal letter. Man, this is so crazy, this storyline, because especially of what just happened on was that
The
Tuesday? Yes,
same
on
day.
Tuesday. Yeah,
It's the
same
same day.
day. Yeah, with the verdict and the Derek Chauvin trial and everything. And the thing about this blue line of protection that these police have for each other and protecting one another, that's something that's real. We saw this with Chauvin, that you had three other officers standing there, just this is this normal routine. And and we've seen it just across the country, we believe, hey, if one officer speaks up, maybe people will stop, their colleagues will stop doing this, and all of those things. And so it's just so ironic that this storyline is really matching what's going on in this country. So we'll see what you think will happen to Calvin. He white, he gonna get
Well,
out. I'm just gonna tell you, he
yeah.
gonna get out. Ain't not gonna happen.
Well, but here's the thing. So the difference between this and the Derek Chauvin case is, those other cops were just watching, which makes them complicit. Calvin actually participated in this, and Calvin is the striking blow that paralyzed this young man. So if anything, Calvin needs to be charged. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if we'll be seeing Calvin on Queen Sugar in the upcoming seasons, because he really should be charged. And something like this, um, when you're watching Nova, and the way I've talked about Nova through the season is, I never understood why she was struggling with being with this white man who truly loved her and wanted to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing she's worried about is what seemed to be the presentation, like that he's white and how that fits into the struggles and the movements that she has, as opposed to him being a cheater. Well, scratch all of that, because everything that she thought about was completely right, because now he's part of this police brutality against an unarmed black man just to beat him up. So everything she feared has literally come to pass for her. And although she's with him, it's a good thing she didn't commit to marry him. But you know I mean, now you gotta, because I was caping for Calvin, so now you gotta question, um you know is Calvin one of those people that I like this black woman, this exotic woman, for her exoticness, because that's what his ex-wife was alluding to,
Right.
and not necessarily for her, because it seems like in the dark he loves Nova, but in the light he's paralyzing this young man. He's part of this police group that are initiating themselves by brutalizing these young black men. so everything about Calvin is coming into question. Yes, it's honorable that he called and turned himself in. Maybe he, just like Davis, maybe he's trying to make amends, but there's certain things that you can't come back from, and maybe you shouldn't be able to come back from. And Calvin may have to pay the price for a whole lot of things that have been going on in this world, and in the Queen Sugar world. Calvin would be the one to pay the price for all of that.
Yeah, uh, I, I agree with all of that. I mean, we're going to see his reckoning, but yeah, this is definitely where you see this. Although Nova's down for the cause, she's a sucker for love, and so she loves this man. And although she knows that he has done something very vile, that love is still there that she's struggling with. You know, um, like she said, I want to hurt you, and that's something real. And so I want to see how that plays out. Now, let me ask you this: is chocolate considered exotic chocolate?
Um, what I will say is, yeah, absolutely, because there are
Okay.
literally chocolate shops. There's Godiva chocolate that have their own shops. You can get chocolate in many ways. Of course, we're used to things like Hershey
Yeah.
bars and Snickers and hot
Hmm.
chocolate. But you can get gourmet chocolates anywhere. If you there's a show that 2 Chains was doing called Some of the
Oh
Most
yeah, the
Expensive
most
Things.
expensive of this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the
Yeah.
things he had was a chocolate with gold shavings on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
saw that.
chocolate can be as exotic as you want it to be.
Well, Nova exotic to me. That's the point I'm trying to get to. I like chocolate, and if Nova's chocolate, I want her. I want Nova chocolate. That's got to be better than the low level Snickers chocolate. It's got to be in between Godiva and a
It-
Snicker.
it's is Paula over there somewhere? I
Nah,
know Paula ain't around listening.
Paula went Paula chocolate too. I like Paula chocolate. Paula went to the store. She went shopping. So,
Okay, okay, okay. Hey everybody, this might be
well,
the
hold up,
last
baby,
time
no,
you
don't
see
hit me.
this 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 might be the last time you see All Things Black with Garland and Calvin. It might just be All Things Black with Carlin,
Right.
with Calvin, and rest well Garland.
Right. We regret to say that Garland will not be joining us for the next several weeks because he's been cut all about the head and the face. All right, let me get to this last piece, man. Vi and Ralph Angel, they still beefing, man. And this is really Vi's fault. In Hollywood, I like Hollywood's, character. He tries to always bring Vi back to square one. Like, look,
Hmm.
he suggests to her that, hey, you really need to apologize. Raising Blue helped Ralph Angel change and transform his life. And the hurtful things that she said was not right, but she doesn't seem like she wants to apologize. She's looking for Ralph Angel to possibly come to her. And even Darla went and she extended a little olive branch, bringing some flowers back to the opening of the reopening of the restaurant and everything. And so, um, I like the way that Hollywood is trying to bring her back in, but life continues to move on. She reopens the business. Hollywood, he's getting ready to, launch his club and everything. And so their relationship seems stronger than ever. They're riding bikes down in New Orleans and stuff. And, love is blooming. And so Hollywood to me he's the checker. Hollywood will check you. He as sisters would say, he'll snatch your edges. Hollywood is the person that brings you back in line. And so, what did you think about that? Her last night, because she's still carrying this unresolved issue. Well, for her at least.
Yeah, and Michelle Price says that Hollywood is her balance, which he definitely is her balance.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely appreciated Hollywood's character. And one of the things I appreciated was Hollywood seemed to have been going down the road of alcoholism a couple of episodes
Right. He
ago.
pulled it
Um,
together.
but maybe Vi was overreacting, like she's been overreacting through this season, because it doesn't seem to have affected Hollywood. He was dealing with the loss of his mom. Um, Hollywood is completely right. His approach is completely right. He made his approach non-confrontational, so she doesn't have to deal with more than what she really needs to deal with, and he can still get his message across. But as you mentioned, and as I'm sure the consensus is, Vi was absolutely wrong. And Vi needs to definitely reach out to Ralph Angel. And it feels like she's going to try to wait for Ralph Angel to reach out to her, but she not only questioned his fatherhood. She attacked his manhood. She
Definitely.
also attacked his relationship with his late father, a man that he adored, loved, and looked up to. So she needs to come to him because well, not almost, she literally treated him like a child. She treated him like a child, and she treated Blue like a piece of property. You know how you might let
Hmm.
someone hold your lawnmower, and the seasons may go by and you may not ever get it back. And in their mind, well, shit, this is my lawnmower now. Well, it's not the same with the child. You know, you were raising the child out of necessity, but that doesn't mean it's your child. And now that the parents are back in the life and doing what they're supposed to do, you know, Vi has to let go. Her opinions, like he said, your opinions matter, but your opinions aren't the final say. And for some reason, she doesn't understand that. And I think we talked about it last week. I especially like when he said, you know, you're not even a parent. Like, you don't even understand what this is. You don't understand how hard these decisions are. So
Right.
I would need you to give me your opinion and help me make a decision, as
Hmm.
opposed to fighting me on a decision that I don't really need to consult with you about. But Vi is
Definitely.
absolutely wrong and needs to be the one to apologize, because this is not going to organically work itself out.
Right. So, we're going to have to see how this plays out and, starts with the next new season of this because, basically we left with the cliffhanger of, will they be able to repair this relationship? And so, we'll see what happens. And so let's just go into, our thoughts about the series overall this season. And so, what storyline resonated with you the most and why?
Um, I absolutely really like the Ralph Angel, Darla, Blue storyline, minus the conflict with Vi. I like the storyline because it brings Darla back into the forefront as a major character and a major figure in there without having issues. This is one of the only seasons, or not one of the only season we have not seen Darla have issues with either the drugs or her parents or even her relationship with Ralph Angel. Darla was solid this season, and I think a lot of us thought she was going to fall off the wagon at some
I did.
point.
Hmm.
But and she didn't. You know, she held strong. She had her opinions. She even, as we saw in this last episode, she even became consultation. She even gave consultation to Charlie in there. So I'm I'm a sucker for the love in the episodes with the child. So I really, that was the storyline that I absolutely liked when it came to the characters. That was the one that I loved the most.
Okay, for me, this is going to be maybe a little weird, but Micah. I like the storyline of Micah because we're seeing Micah mature into a young man. He's transitioned from this little bratty high school kid to someone who's making major decisions, deciding where he wanted to go to college and pledging. And then with the protest and the outbreak of COVID and deciding that he's going to after the murder of George Floyd that he's going to go and help the community and all and so I wish they would have spent more time excuse me on that storyline because I think it would have been good to see his experience of growing into this um, principled, strong young man. And so I love to see where he started as like I said, this little brat with the little bird chest to hey, I'm out here and I'm in the community and I'm doing things that are impactful and I'm taking these steps to adulthood. And so I really like that. And a close second would be the Charlie and Davis storyline. I mean, I think, it just shows redemption. I think anybody can be redeemed in life. I've seen couples that split for 20 plus years and then all of a sudden get back together. And so this is not far fetched that, something like that could happen. And so, I really like seeing that Charlie is open to saying, "Hey, I see that you've changed," and Davis has confronted his issues, and maybe we can step into the future together. So yeah, those storylines really stood out for me this year. What were some of your biggest disappointments this season?
It has to be Vi. It has to be Aunt Vi, the way she's handled things. And it was such a turnaround because she's always been the strong, silent one, the matriarch
Mhm.
of the family. And it has to be the way she handled that. I thought that she would probably be the hero when it came to Hollywood and his look like his drinking and also his business not being able to open. But yeah, she took that turn when it came to Blue, and she just hasn't recovered in my mind. And secondary to that, and I hate to say this, but it's just
Mhm.
the drama of TV for me. I was disappointed that we didn't lose anyone, and I like the
I
characters and
thought
I don't
that
want them
too.
to go, but when you're watching TV shows, you always want some sort of drama, some sort of
Hmm.
something unexpected. And we didn't lose anyone. And Charlie was the only one that came down with COVID, and we still don't even really know if it
Right.
was COVID.
Never got a
But
test.
yeah, so there was no real drama as far as health and the actual disease in the show. So those were the two things that kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, for me, it was that we started the season with this storyline of the potential of this highway being built through St. Joe's, and we never got back to it. I know we went
Yeah,
into COVID, but it was like that thing just disappeared. And so, what was the result of that? We never had any resolution. They were, they went to court. There was, a lot of beef going on. Charlie went to meet with the woman and all of these things. And then COVID struck, and it was like, okay, on to the next story. And so there was never any, to me, any closure with it. And maybe, hey, it might come back next season because I'm guessing it's not resolved. I know, she mentioned in one of the episodes right before she got sick that Charlie did that, Micah had found some loophole or something, but what was the resolution with that? And so that to me, that was a disappointment that we never got any resolution. Also, I agree with you. One of my secondary disappointments was, man, ain't nobody died this year. you
why
know,
not?
we really thought Prosper was, because Prosper was scared. Prosper was looking at COVID like he was a runaway slave. Like, oh Lord, COVID gonna get me. Like he was running through the swamps of Southern Maryland or something. I'm like, COVID is definitely going to get Prosper. But hey, Prosper in there playing dominoes. He up in there
Exactly.
living his best life. And so, the person that we really thought was going to get sick didn't get sick at all. It was daggone Charlie. And so, and like you said, we didn't even know she had COVID. She just
It's never,
self-diagnosed herself. Girl,
yeah,
you just
never really
had
been.
you just had extreme runny nose. That's all. And so we don't even know if you had COVID. But
Now,
yeah, that
someone
was
did say we lost Calvin to the big house, and we don't even know if he's going to jail or not.
Don
He
said
was
that.
white boys, and we don't even know if he's going to jail. Michelle does mention in here that Vi is probably the most realistic character that we have, just because of the way
Right.
she acts. Yes and no. Now she might be realistic for this generation, but not ours, only because our grandmothers and aunties ain't dressing all sexy like they hookers and stuff. Because I mean,
Right.
Vi was,
I letting them have it.
let's
Like
not
I'm still
forget
I'm still young.
that.
I'm still young.
Yeah.
I got this young
But now,
Hollywood.
yeah, nowadays, this generation, their aunties and grandmothers, I guess, who would be our peers, they dressing like that now.
Right. Right. Well, hey, grandmothers today, they only 32. They ain't as old as our
That's true.
grandmothers was.
And then they don't even want to be 32. They posted on
Right.
social media, 32 where?
Right.
32 where? 32 where?
Somebody's calling you Nana.
Someone
You're not
said
a hottie
Ava
no more.
decided to rewrite the entire season at the last minute to reflect the
Yeah.
current time. Yeah, and it definitely showed that, and I definitely understand that. So I'm sure we'll get back to
Yeah.
the storyline of there. But it would have been nice, as Garland mentioned, if they would have mentioned the highway. And I think they actually did talk about the highway in one of the episodes. Charlie kind of alluded to it right before she caught COVID. I think she was on the phone
Yeah. When
talking
she's
about it right
Yeah,
before. Yeah,
Mike had found this loophole and whatever. And so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. What were some of the best things about the season for you? Just random best things.
Random best things. Definitely the wedding in the backyard at the beginning. And as we were talking about with the highway, Charlie meeting her match. Charlie got that chick in
Right.
there, and she is strong. I'm anxious, and she's been strong on every show that she's been on. She was strong in Underground. She was strong on How to Get Away with Murder. She's definitely a strong character. So that's definitely a highlight for me. Of course, I mentioned Darla herself. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Hollywood's place. Hollywood's, what is he calling it? His man cave now?
Yeah, his
What
man
is it?
cave. I
Yeah,
forgot what
I'm
the name
looking
of it
forward
was.
to how they're doing with that. So yeah, those were some of the highlights of the show for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, another disappointment, real quick. Blue went to DC and still ain't get a goddamn lineup when he was in the damn.
Right.
What we doing? Cut,
Right.
shake Blue's head up. Somebody,
We need to
please.
start let's start a Kickstarter campaign to raise money for Blue's haircut. Maybe we
Who
can
said?
do that. We could start a Kickstarter for him.
Wait, man. Who said a highlight was Dollar put on some makeup? See, this is what I'm talking. Y'all are
Dawn.
so y'all are so
that's
wrong.
that's light skin on light skin violence right there. Dawn, how you gonna go for the other light skin? That's light skin on light skin violence.
What's some of the highlights for you, Garland?
Some of the highlights for me, and I think I said this early, was that I just really loved how they related what we went through with COVID. How
Yes.
we were like living this life nice and carefree, and then all of a sudden everything shut down. And the impact of that, you're scared to bring mail in the house, you wiping down groceries, all of these different emotions of how you went throughout that year from March. Then you got to summer where you felt a little bit more comfortable, and then heading back into the fall and how everything got a little crazier again. I think they just did that. To me, that was one of the best things because it really was realistic of that step we went through just to get through that. I mean, people. I think about it this time last year. I don't think I rarely went out the house in April. I was just like I was petrified, of I can't
Mhm.
go here, can't go there. If we went here, we had to wear gloves and all of these other things. And now we're at the point where, over half of the people in the country have been vaccinated or at least received one
The
shot.
first shot. Yeah.
Yeah, the first shot. And, we're talking about do we need masks when we're outside? And although the numbers are still trending up a little bit, and, I know we still, got some conspiracy people out here that are not going to get the shot. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. Um, we're definitely in a different space than we were last year. So I thought that they hit a home run with that. That they really captured in those storylines. The arc of where people were in terms of what happened to us.
And someone said Hollywood's character was definitely a highlight for them. How he
Mm-hmm.
showed his vulnerability, but then he came
Definitely.
back. And that's definitely a good point.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
that's what I'm saying in this realistic storyline. I mean, I at first starting out, I was fortunate enough in the first several months of knowing no one who died from it. Not a lot of people I knew had it, And then, as the year went on, I had COVID at one point. My family, my wife had COVID. I knew several people that passed away from it. And so it was like, yeah, like, wow, that's the emotion of, the whole thing. And so, yeah, even the Hollywood portion of him losing his mother, you know, they just got that emotion all into it, which I thought was great.
Yeah,
Definitely.
man. Good show.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So I can't wait for the Shy, and I know somebody
Yes.
mentioned what's it? Is it David? Oh my God, why I want to forget the show?
Met David makes man or David
David
versus.
makes man, something
Yeah,
like
I've
that.
never
And so
seen it. I'm gonna have to catch up on it.
it's a good show. Watch the first season. It was written by one of the writers or producers from Moonlight,
Okay.
and Felicia Rashad was in the first season. I don't know if she's going to be in the second season, but it's definitely a very good storyline of a young man growing up in the inner city of Miami. And so, yeah, this is definitely it's a good story.
So we're going to wait. I'm gonna watch that. We'll decide if we want to do
Watch
that.
it and tell me
We're
if you want to
definitely
go.
going to do the shot, but we also there's another one that we're waiting on, and that is the final season of Insecure. We're definitely waiting on
Waiting on
that
that.
because we definitely want to talk about that. So between the
Mm-hmm.
shot and Insecure, we'll see what else falls in there, but we definitely want to do those two when they come up. But yeah, this was a great season of Queen Sugar. Um, Probably also should have done Snowfall. I don't know
We
if you
should have
saw
did
the season
Snowfall. I
finale
saw the season
last night.
finale.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, Snowfall is a great show. So we'll definitely
yeah,
consider that for next
yeah,
season. It's a great
yeah.
show. But we want to thank everybody for joining us through Queen Sugar. And of course, we still have a few
David
episodes
makes
of This
man.
Is Us. David Makes Man.
David
We
makes
still
man.
have a few episodes of This Is Us to do, and that'll fall right into the beginning of The Shy. So we'll do that. But as promised, there is a special announcement about the music battles that
Wait with bated
needs to
breath.
be made, and Garland doesn't even know this. So I hope everyone is listening and paying attention. Matter of fact, let me get okay. I got this real quick. Thank you. I got this real quick. It is hot off the presses. This is about the music battle, and this is from Judge Lance Ito of the O.J. Simpson fame, and he was the judge that got the appeal from Garland's lawyers from the last music battle. And I haven't read this yet. And Judge Lance Ito writes, in the appeal case of the last music battle for the top black movie soundtrack jams, he rules there has been no fraud. And he also writes in his paragraph, as taken from my friend and late colleague Johnny Cochran, if there's no fraud, you must applaud the winner, Calvin Coates. This is All Things Black. I'm Calvin. He's Garland. And this is the championship
Oh
belt.
God.
And Judge Lance Ito has told us that the results are official. Once again, and I'll repeat this line, if there's no fraud, then you must applaud. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, he also writes in here, make DC a steak, Joe. And while you're making a mistake, get blue and shape up. It's right here. It's all right here. Anybody want to see it, just let me know. I can, I can send you a copy of it.
This is some
But
mess.
the biggest news is that I have been deemed the champion. You know what, Garland, see if you have something to say. Let me email this. I gotta send Judge Ito a response.
I'll get my attorneys to respond to this, but like
I
I
think
said,
he
man,
doesn't want to hear from your attorneys anymore.
I'm gonna go forward. I concede and storm the Capitol. Do what you got to do. You know, but yeah, I concede.
Wait, did you say you concede?
I do. I concede.
Oh, see, this is huge, everyone. This is huge. And I'm so glad we did it. Matter of fact, the ticker tape has it right there. The ticker tape, music battle, Calvin wins. If there is no fraud, then you must applaud. Breaking news. Breaking news, everyone. So
This
this
is
will
a
be
mess.
sitting. This will be sitting on the timelines for All Things Black and my personal timeline on the YouTube page and the Twitter page. You'll be able to see it. So if you want to review it, it is right here. You heard Garland say he conceded. Hey man, I don't know if we're going to be here next week because it doesn't come back till May the 11th. So we may take a break. We may decide to do something in between. But either way, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us and definitely thank you for sticking with us through Queen Sugar. We will pick up with This Is Us, of course. And as we mentioned, the Shy will come the end of May, and then we'll wait and see what else we want to do. And we'll be anxiously waiting for Insecure.
There
Once
you go.
again, this is All Things Black with Garland and Calvin. I'm
It's a
Calvin.
mess.
He's Garland. That is the championship belt. The results are right there. You see them, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Everyone be safe. Have a good night. My Orioles are not in last place, so that's always a blessing. See everyone later. Hey, have a good one, Garland.
All right, Calvin.